Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui. On this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos on Wednesdays and on Saturdays, so please make sure to back on those days in order to watch new content. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe. If you are a beginner or if you are a person who wants to brush up on your skill, I offer online courses. I'll be showing a demo how to draft, how to make a jumpsuit for you to watch and decide if it will be convenient for you to learn online. If you're interested, send a Telegram message number that you can see on the screen. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the video. Continue to have a lovely day. Bye bye. Alright, welcome to today's video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make the skirt that you've seen on the thumbnail and in the B-roll footage before now. So to begin, I have drafted my skirt pattern. Now if you don't know how to draft the skirt pattern, please make sure to see my previous video. That's my video on how to draft different types of pencil skirts, so that you have an idea on how to draft whatever I have drafted here. The skirt length I am working with is a skirt length of 19 inches. So we're going to see the video on how to draft a skirt, different types of pencil skirts, in order to know how to draft the skirt block if you don't know how to do that already. I'm now going to place my fabric on a fold, and then I'm going to cut two pieces for my front and for my back. So you see, this is for my front, the one underneath here is for the back. So let's start cutting. Okay, so now I have cut both the front and the back of the skirt. Now this fabric is quite thick, so I'm not going to line it. So I'm going to need a way to finish the top part of the skirt. I'm not going to fix a band either. I have made videos on this channel where I show you how to fix a band to your skirt. So just go to the channel. Any skirt that you see me make, you can watch it and you see me use a lining or you see me use a band. In this case, I'm going to use a facing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use a facing for your skirt. So I'm going to cut a facing for this, and I'm going to cut the facing from up here. Okay, so from the top here, I'm going to cut the facing to be the same thing with the body. So you see the back that we have here. The face is going to be basically the same thing with the body from the top until 5 inches after the top, and that's where the facing is going to stop. So I'm going to cut the facing for both the front and the back, and then I'll be back. Alright, so this is how you cut the front and the back facing. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to cut the drapes in front, and for that we are going to be working with this pattern right here. Okay, so we're going to be using this fabric. Okay, so now the first thing you would need to do when you are about to cut the fabric for the front side is you would pick, that's the drapes for the front, you would pick up the front like I have done, and you would lay it flat. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is you're going to come to the hip area, and you're going to measure from one side of the hip across to the other side. So like this. Okay, so from one side of the hip to the other side, I'm working with approximately 24 inches. Now this includes the body plus the allowance to, and whatever allowance that you have kept. Okay, so from here to here is approximately 24 inches. Now what I want you to do is I want you to cut two pieces of fabric, okay, at 24 inches by 16. Okay, so we're going to cut two pieces from this fabric, okay, or whatever fabric you want to use for the drape in front. It doesn't matter even if it's the same fabric. I want you to cut this 24 inches, okay, by a width of 16. Cut it 2 times. So that's what we're going to do next. Alright, so here it is. I have cut 2 pieces of this part. So let's head back to the sewing machine so we start piecing all of this together. Okay, so now the first thing would be to hem both sides of the 2 pieces that you have. So you see the 2 pieces. The first thing would be to hem it. So you just keep it on your sewing machine, and you're going to bend half twice on both sides. So you will hem here and you will hem here. So you'll see me do that now. Okay, so that's it for the both sides. So now the next thing is to attach these two pieces to the skirt. Okay, so now the next thing is we need to make some gathers, some pleats, sorry, or gathers, or however you want to call it. So you see this, we're going to come 2 inches after the waist. So you see here, this is the waistline. We're going to come 2 inches after the waistline. Now I'm doing this on the front of the skirt, okay? So 2.5 inches after the waistline, we're going to start making some folds, okay? So from the waist, you come down 2.5, and when you get here, you're going to start making pleats. Now you're going to need to make these pleats, okay? From here, you want to make the pleats down to 10 inches. So you'll find a way to squeeze all of this into 5 inches. So that's what I'm going to do now. And after you have done that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold this other side. So you see this end here, you're going to fold it in as well. So you see here, and now I'm going to continue making the gathers from here all the way down. The same thing, I want to gather this to be 5 inches because I want from here to the end. By the time I'm done gathering this one, I want the distance it has covered to be 10 inches. So this is the first part. We're going to have to repeat the same thing on the other side. Okay, so let me get the other side. Okay, the other side is here. So you see this. Now when you're about to work on the other side, the next thing is to simply loop, you see this, pass the side through like this. And with that we have created the knots that you can see in the center of the skirt. Okay, you can see that. You can see this knot here. That's the knot you saw, or like you can see the knot that we have there in the center of the skirt. So I'm going to repeat the same thing that I started from 2.5 and I made my gathers to be 10 inches long at the end of the day. I'm going to repeat the same thing on this other side. So you can see this, that is how that knot in front of the skirt was created. Okay, that's how the knot was created. So now we're going to go on and make the rest of the skirt like a regular skirt. All right. Okay, so now the first thing is to bring your facing. Okay, the facing that we cut, you're going to bring it, you're going to join it at the waist. Okay, join it 1/2 inch at the waist, and then I'm going to hold the dart. So I'm going to join it at the waist first before I hold my dart. The length of the dart is 3.5 inches. If you watch the video where you see me drafting, you would know, you would have known that already. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold a dart of 3.5 inches. So you see here, I'm going to now separate the fabric where I made my notch. I'll separate the fabric from the facing. Okay, this is the facing here. And also I will pick up only just the blue fabric. I'm not picking up the Ankara that I use for the design. Only just the blue fabric is what I'm picking up. And I'm going to hold the darts from the fabric into the facing. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to come 3.5 inches from this line and hold my darts. So as for the darts, I'll start from nothing. Okay, I'll start from nothing, and then I'm going to taper in to 1/2 inch. So starting from nothing, I've tapered out to 1/2 inch, and now I'm going to close it up. Okay, I'm going to close up the 3.5 back to nothing. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side of the dance as well. Alright, so here we have both sides of the back. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is, you see this notch that I made over here. Now this is where I want my zipper to start to stop. Okay, so I want to be able to zip from here and stop here. This point from here to here, the distance is 8 inches, in case you are wondering. So the zipper allowance I kept was 2 inches. So I'm going to come to this notch that I made here, and I'm going to stitch at the 2 inches from here all the way down. Okay, now because of this hem that I kept, remember I kept a hem of 2 inches. Okay, and from the hem I want a small slit at the back of the skirt. So from the hem here, I'm going to stop at 6 inches where I am now, and I'll lock it there. So the space that is left is what I intend to use for my slits. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the top part. Okay, on the body I'm going to now install my zipper. Okay, so I'm going to just install the zipper like you install a regular zipper, nothing special going on here. Okay, so now I have attached my zipper. The next thing is to bring the facing that is meant for the back into the mix. Alright, so at the top here we have both sides, the two facings that are meant for both sides of the waist, so you can see them over here. The next thing is just to simply bring it down and attach them at the waist. So I'm going to run from the beginning of the waist here all the way into the zipper allowance, both on this side and on this other side here. So now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, at this point, hold the darts. So whatever I did at the front for the darts is still applicable at the back. So it's just going to be the same thing. Now after you have darted both sides of the back, we still have the facing hanging loose. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to use this facing. So you see this, I've turned to the back of the skirt. Okay, now make sure if you want this to be like perfectly neat, use an overlocker everywhere. So places like this waist part here, after you cut it, simply just use an overlocker before you even start sewing. But now for the zipper allowance, this excess that we have up here, what you will do is this. After you've laid it flat, you're going to just pick up the waist. You see this part here, you're going to lay it flat, and then you're going to try to stitch as close to the stitch that holds your zipper to the skirt. You're going to try to sew as close to it as possible, which is what I'm doing now. Okay, now next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the excess in front of here, both on the left. You see this, you're making a notch across the top so that everything turns inside perfectly. Make sure that when you're cutting, you don't cut across any of these two stitches that you just made. Okay, you're going from here all the way out. Now the next thing, turn all your excess inside out. And what you would see is that you have finished your zipper area neatly. Okay, what you see is that you finish your zipper area a very clean way. So this is the inside up here. Look at how clean this top part is. By the time I iron it, everything here is going to lay flat. If I turn it over here we have our zipper. So the next thing is to join the front to the back. But before we do, I'm going to come over to your to the edge of the skirt. Make sure to use an overlocker. You see this edge here. Make sure you've finished all of here nicely. When you are ready, before you bring the front and join it to the back, what you're going to do is this: you're going to lay your slits flat. Now you have two options. You can either use hemming tape or hemming gum. That's that gum that's in a roll. Put it under here and iron it down. Okay, that will give you a very clean finish at the back. Do that for both sides of the back so that here lays smoothly. Alright, so let me go and give this a good press and I'll be back so that we can join the front of the skirts to this back part. Okay, so over here we have the front. Now the next thing is to join the back to the front. So here's the back. I've ironed it. Alright, so now whatever allowance you kept as your sewing allowance is what you are going to hold at the end of the day. So when I was teaching you guys, I think I kept 1.5 at the hip, 1.5 everywhere else all the way down on the side, and at the waist I kept 2.5 because of the darts. Okay, so in that case I still kept 1.5 when I was drafting this. You're going to separate your facing from your fabric, your facing from the main part of your skirt like so, and then you're going to separate. You see this, you're going to place the back of your skirt, the front side of the back of your skirt facing the front side. Align them at the waist. So you see this joining here. Align these two joining at the waist, and then we're going to sew from here all the way down. Okay, so after you have completed that step, the next thing is to head over to the sewing machine, and you see this here, this joining that you have, you're going to iron both of them flat. Okay, so you iron here flat, you would also iron here flat too as well. Alright, so you can see that this is the part we just joined. Now I have ironed it flat. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is you want to collapse it. So you see this here, you're going to collapse it at the waist. Now remember that you should use your overlocker to finish all these places so that it gives you a very neat finish. I'm not making this for a client, I'm just making this to show you how it's done. Now so you see what we have here. Okay, you see the way this is done. Now the next thing is this. Remember it was open like this, you lay it flat. Okay, then you come from here, make sure the waist is perfectly flat. Then you come from here. That's what I'm doing. You come from here and you grab both this guy and this part here. So lay it flat once again, pick up the first part. Now you see this part of your joining that's just hanging loose. You pick it up and then you stitch it down. Just tack it back, stitch back and forth. This is going to make sure that your facing stays inside your skirt at all times. I'll do the same thing on the other side as well. So after taking care of the waist, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to hem the skirt. Now you can use hemming gum, as that's hemming tape, or you can use your sewing machine like I'm about to do. So the next and final step after you have done this is to iron it. Okay, when you iron it, you're done with the skirts. Thank you for watching the video. If you've come this far, continue to have a lovely day. I will see you in the next class.